right,
I'm watching
let's.
it right now.
Yeah, I'm watching it as well. I'm waiting for it to reload.
Nope, it's better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's full screen now.
Okay, it's full screen now. Does it have the thing?
It does have the thing. I see the overlay.
Okay, alright. I'm waiting for my thing to load. It's not loading very quickly, so I'm just gonna... Okay. Just because I resized the browser, I had to resize... Okay, perfect. Alright, it fixed itself. We're good now. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties do be like that sometimes. Now, if I move OBS out of the way, will it do it? No, it will not. Very good. That's what I needed it to do. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Burt Macklin for resubscribing. 12 months, a full year of Prime membership. That's very nice. Kind of got thrown off a little bit of the group, but right now we are in the qualifying session. These drivers are trying to set their qualifying times. We're going to ride on board now that I can move that away. Oh, I need to do something real fast so that way you can see what I'm looking at. So that way you're not in the dark, Mr. Kerbal. Thank you very much for joining me and keeping me awake for the time being. And I do believe Max Power is going to be the first driver to set a lap time here in this qualifying session for DRL LMU. As he crosses the line, he will put himself a 2:014. That is a good start for Max Power. Funny enough, Neil Kerbal's former teammate in ACC.
He's actually been doing a lot of practice in LMU from what I've heard, and based on his practice lap times, he's on pace with what he was doing in the practice server. So he's definitely on soft tires, really pushing the limit.
Your cat seems to be very much in agreement with that statement, as currently we have a bunch of drivers now doing some good lap times. This will be the first initial runs of this qualifying session. These hypercars going so fast, it shakes the camera. So currently, as it stands right now, the Cadillacs are taken very much into account, going 2-3 Macklin, Bozak, respectfully. Then you have Tarakov, Zaborg, Nairati, Jansen, Watt, Braun. That would be Vlad. I'm going to butcher that name because it's European. Hayes and Stanford. Then you have Dan taking a P7 and Polinick still in the pits right now. 14 drivers all with us at the moment. Why are all other games than IR seem so cartoonish? The caddy is OP at the moment in iRacing. iRacing I don't personally touch. I'm ACC currently all the way at the moment. I used to be F1, graduated to ACC. I used to run the F1 division at DRL at one point, but nope. I run in the ACC division now. Did not want to touch LMU with a 10-foot pole, to be honest, because mostly because the Valkyrie isn't in there. That's what I'm upset about.
Why is the Valkyrie upset you that much?
As Max Power gets a little bit of rear wheel spin at the end there as he crosses the line, hopefully to set a better lap time. I want to drive the Valkyrie mostly just to see. Yes, because I love Aston. You are not wrong in that sentence. I do love the Aston. Mostly due to the fact as Salas will now go P3. That yellow flag is for Max Power as you just see who has entered the pits. We're going to ride on board now with my good friend Nitch. The problem is right now with LMU, it's still kind of in the works of everything. Like, I don't have a track map for you guys. All I have is this overlay with the intervals and then who I'm riding on board with. That's kind of what I have for you guys at the moment, so, which is unfortunate because I like ACC better. I have a track map, I have all this kind of stuff, but it's just a mini championship we're running in between the ACC. It does, and again, I like it, but there's always room for improvement. whether it's from my end, whether it's from their end. There's always room for improvement. Funny enough, it's showing you the gap to the leader. I want to show you the interval, but it won't show because it's qualifying. Now, Roddy is 1,000th of a second behind Zaborg, which is crazy, to say the least. Like, there's not a lot of gap at all between these drivers right now. And Macklin is getting ever so closer to max power right now. He's less than a tenth in terms of this qualifying session. I will do my best to make sure all the drivers get their screen time. There's a whole bunch of cars and a whole bunch of liveries, so you get a bunch of traffic here by max power. Oh, that's a little bit of a rear end from a Porsche from Polinick into the Lamborghini of Stanford. A little bit of a lockup by the Penske Porsche as well of Polinick. All these drivers, Neil, are still just getting used to the fact of this LMU is still a new game for everybody, to be honest. Okay, I gotta go. Well, have a good time wherever you're going, sim casing. As time does move on here at DRL. There's 6 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, and then a 50-minute race. I'm gonna have such a time staying awake for it, but that's what my good friend Neil Kerbel is here to do. He's here to keep me awake somehow, some way. Oh, BRB feeding the cat. As that is a driver that was just spinning out of control there. That wasn't Russell Stanford. Who was it that was spinning out of control in the background there? That must have been Vlad. Somebody was spinning off in the ditch. Kerbal not doing LMU for whatever reason, I don't know. He's currently away from his microphone right now, so that's why I'm keeping you guys all company here in the comfort of your own home. Braun is now is 1,000th off Kuzhatarakov's time, which is absolutely maddening. The gaps in this are pretty much almost non-existent. Little bit of a lockup there by the car ahead. That is Buggy Watt. Buggy Watt is currently driving the Penske Porsche Motorsport car in this little mini LMU championship we are running on. Buggy Watt gets out of the way for the faster driver of Kuzhatarakov, who's probably on a qualifying lap and does not want to interrupt that qualifying lap. Hey Bradley, how are you doing tonight? Weird hearing me behind the microphone again. Cheese. Shaun Chez, thank you so much for joining this. I'm good working while listening. All right. I would probably turn my volume down. I will scream absolute belligerently, especially if something happens. Chez, I will time you out. Yes, definitely go Leaf Skull. I'm in a lot better mood than what I could have been. Hello to Alex Hansen. Thank you so much for joining this DRL LMU. Appreciate the support. You're cheering for Vlad? Well, he's found himself just on the cusp of the top 10, about 2/10 off from Buggy Watt. Everyone's still learning this LMU game, so this is like preseason testing for DRL when it comes to LMU. We haven't created an official league just yet. We're kind of just muddying the waters a little bit. No ABS is a new thing for him. Oh, dude, the practice we had yesterday for me to make sure I get the stream running good and all this other stuff. Oh my God, people were just crashing into each other. It was so much fun. I had a blast. And that is both Salas and Vlad just, for some strange reason, parking right in front of me, and that is a massive lockup by Braun. Honestly, if they just stay here, I have a pretty good camera angle of what's happening. And who's that coming up? That would be Dan going into turn 1 just now. Shit, I thought Delitraz joined DRL. And welcome back, Kerbal. Kerbal, you got asked a question by Sim Casing. Why are you not doing LMU?
Why am I not doing LMU?
That is correct.
I don't know. Just it hasn't gone on sale yet on Steam. It's also not a full-fledged game just yet. It's still in beta, I believe. But they're releasing DLC for it. I don't know. It's definitely interesting, but it's in a weird place right now. At least in my opinion. But I'm also not on the bleeding edge of games anyways, so I wouldn't listen or follow my decisions about things.
Yeah, I know Kerbal's volume is pretty low compared to me, mostly because I have my microphone pretty much almost down my throat, versus Kerbal, who's is notoriously kind of a not so.
I put my microphone down my throat.
Yeah, I was about to say I heard that. Yep, De La Torre currently sits P10, just inside the top 10. Points really mean nothing in this kind of LMU mini championship. I mean, it's
it's bragging rights.
It's bragging rights. And Bradley says, "What's up, Kerbal?" As well as Hansen says, "Neil, it's worth it. Trust me." But
because Alex Hansen said it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Well, considering Alex Hansen, in what I know from the Monday Night Leagues, always seems to have the. I've adopted that strategy, Hansen, for farming safety rating in LFM. Pit lap 1.
You have not. No, you haven't.
What do you mean? I've adopted it.
You did it one time.
I did it again today.
Oh, did you? Okay,
yes, well. I pit lap 1.
I didn't see that. How much safety rating did you get?
0.1. I had a lot of off-track excursions. I was pushing too hard and stuff like that. It's the bee's knees. What are you going to expect? Polnick honestly has given me probably the most surprise. He currently sits 5th at the moment.
Yeah, he's improved quite a lot.
Someone just died. Somebody just died behind him. I heard someone hit the wall and just explode. What is Russell Stanford doing? Why is he parked in the middle of the track? I don't.
Now he's back in the pits.
Now he's back in the pits. Someone died behind Polnick going through Puwan. The crash sound physics of this game just make me giggle.
All right, so you heard that everyone expects some giggles tonight.
Currently, there are only 2 drivers out as the qualifying time hits 0. That would be Kevin Polnick and Kujaterkov. Kujaterkov goes across the line, moves up into 6th. Can Polnick find some time? He would need to find about 3/10 to get up to Zaborg. Zaborg's P4 by less than a 100th of a second. Was any time found by Mr. Polnick? No, it was not. And that should be the end of qualifying.
Looks to be, although from what I'm seeing in the timing chart right now, this looks to match what was in the practice server. So everyone's kind of where I would expect them to be. But I'm interested to see what the pit strategy is, because this was explained to me. There's no official pit stop required. It's based on this virtual energy number that you're supposed to manage.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
Everyone's gonna which is new, because you start in the pits before Macklin will take out power to. We'll see. I need to get to the helicopter view here. There we go. There's the helicopter view. That's the view. That's the view I want for this. As we will ride on board with the drivers once they come out of the pits. We'll start at the back of the grid. First, we got Mr. Jason Hayes. He is in the Ferrari AF Corsa. The numbers necessarily don't matter because if they pick the same car, they'll have the same number. Like both Macklin and Bozak are 3, Delator is 3, so the numbers necessarily don't matter as of...
So what you're saying is there's clones out there.
Pretty much there's clones. Then you have Russell Stanford, keeping him for company, P13. You have Buggy Watt, who actually surprisingly had a half-decent sitting 12th. Then you have Vlad sitting 11th. Then you have Dan Delator at P10 inside the top 10. Then you have Nairati P9, which, to be honest, I expected Nairati just to be a little bit higher. I expected him somewhere near 7th or 6th because he does have pace. But, again, it's LMU. There's no... I don't care if it's starting or not. I'm still going through my grid order. All right, Spencer Braun is P8. Salas Janssen is P7. Kuzya Terekov is P6. Kevin Polinick is P5. Evan Zaborg is P4. Samuel Bozak is P3. Burt Macklin is in P2. And on pole position, it is Max Power.
But it's max power 8946.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. If I hear you... See, I would love the helicopter shot, but it's kind of getting in the way of the fact of, you know, the forest, so... We will see these drivers come to the line. We wait for the green flag to wave. We have 7 rows, 14 drivers. The first dip in the water for DRL into this new Le Mans Ultimate game. And the green flag waves. The race director sends us off. The screen shakes. Into turn 1 we go. Max Power will take the inside. Macklin will elect the outside. Who's going to get the better rundown? Into Radion and Eau Rouge. So far, everything looks fine from the background side of things. We're going to change camera angles to see if we can get to that helicopter cam, and up Radion and Eau Rouge the drivers go. So far, everything seems to be this fine right now, and no one has died going up this hill. But here come the drivers, as that is someone that has gone off. I do believe that is going to be Stanford in the background. Side by side goes Macklin and Max Power. Macklin going off the track. He cannot gain positions this way. He's going to lose out to Zaborg and almost to his teammate as Macklin hits the back of Zaborg, causing almost a train effect. This might allow other drivers to gain an advantage. It does not do so. The only one that has gained out of that position is Zaborg. We're going to ride on board with a few other drivers. Currently, Buggy Watt as it stands as Nairati and Salas seemingly have collided. There is no replay function here, folks, sadly. I cannot show you anything that's happened, but something can guess for me that Nairati and Salas have collided into that area of the track. Now we keep riding on board. You have Vlad behind Buggy Watt. You got Hayes, and then you got Stanford in this nice little battle here. We're going to switch on board with Polinick, who's currently chasing as we have... There are no yellow flags at the moment. The green flags are still waving. I don't know why the green panels keep flashing. You currently have Polinick dipping all 4 wheels into the gravel, following Kuzya Terekov, who some of you may know from Trackalicious. We do Monday nights there. But right now we're focused on what we're doing right now, and that is this LMU race. So far, already 2 minutes have passed, and it feels like it's been 20. So a lot of action for the first lap, and now we expect things to cool down as it stands right now. Max Power's in the lead, followed by Evan Zaborg and Burt Macklin complete these podium positions. Bozak and Kuzya Terekov complete the top 5. Nobody in the pits right now. Just gonna do this real fast. Spencer Braun, Polinick, Braun, Delator, Watt, and Vlad complete the top 10. Then you got Hayes, Stanford, Nairati, and then Jansen lining up the back row. As that is Zaborg going to the inside, most likely defending from Macklin. Macklin doing his best to try and catch Zaborg. This in ACC would be pro on pro, so nothing out of the ordinary that changes here, as we have Salas on the back of Nairati. So far, no ground gained between these two, as their seemingly starting rivalry continues on here. Bigger gaps are starting to form. You have Hayes on the back of Vlad, but this so far We have two close battles. We got Hayes and Vlad, and then we have Salas and Mitch. Those battles will hopefully for each driver benefit one or the other. We'll find out here as the days goes on. All right, Neil, what do you think is the, I guess, best way to get around Spa without crashing? Is there a strategy at play here, you think?
I really think the benefit is going to occur when their virtual energy runs low. How they manage that virtual energy and basically stay out on track, because the longer you're out on track, the more driving you can do, and thus stay ahead of your competitors. So it'll be interesting to see if, or I guess how these drivers approach that pit stop strategy, because it's, from what I heard, it's not a requirement. You're not supposed to go into the pits, or you're not required to, but if you do need to recharge that virtual energy, depending on how you drive this hypercar, you could potentially stay out longer than other drivers. Then the other thing is, ensuring that you don't lock up the brakes and develop flat spots on your tires, because that'll significantly affect you. It looks like we're getting some battles.
Stanford has DNF'd, and I changed at the worst time because Macklin got by Zaborg. However, this battle seemingly not ending, as Zaborg will take that position back. We will see if we can get a better cam. The side-by-side they go. Bozak's not too far away from this battle either. He's going to get himself interested as side-by-side the Cadillac and the Ferrari go. A little bit of a moment there for Macklin, but he manages to keep it going. Sadly, we lost Russell Stanford to a DNF. God knows how that happened. We weren't there to see it, so sadly for him, he will not continue on for us, and we wish him all the best, hopefully, in this next race. The battle for the the final two podium places seemingly going very strong. You got Polnick catching up to Kujaterekov there. You have Nairati now with Salas still behind him. However, he's got Vlad now for company in front of him. And this is a question I often ask most drivers, Neil. When you are in the middle here, do you attack or you defend? What would your strategy be?
I don't know how difficult it is. I talked to some of the drivers before this event to ask what the draft in this game is like, and they said it's a little bit stronger than ACC, so it is potentially possible to, as you can see on track right now, on these long stretches, being able to get that draft and on the straight safely overtake your opponent. But I tend to drive a little bit more defensive, so looking in my rearview mirror is how I tend to drive, and it looks like Nairati is kind of doing that, defending the inside shortly before that last turn. Ooh, somebody just spun.
Yep, that would be Salas Jensen spinning out, losing precious position on Nairati. What a massive lockup by Vlad in that Lamborghini Iron Lynx. That's going to allow Nairati in this BMW to really take advantage of that. The flat spots in this are horrendous. Then you have Jason Hayes, who is currently in the pits right now. Oh, actually, he's just leaving the pits. Sorry, I lied. Call me a liar in the chat as it stands right now. As you can see right now, I wonder, as Nairati has seemingly got past Vlad did not make that look too difficult, as Nairati finds himself now in the top 10. As you can see right now on the screen, that is the virtual energy of these drivers. So far,
so it looks like Macklin and Bozak are maintaining their virtual energy pretty well. Zaborg is ahead, but 10% lower, and Power is ahead with 10%, actually 9% less than them. So it'll be interesting to see how well they can maintain that. They're saying you could also adjust your engine map in this. So for example, you get the lead on the first lap, and then you adjust your engine map to kind of conserve that virtual energy. And as long as you can stay ahead of your competitors, it's not a bad strategy to try and just stay ahead and just maintain that advantage. Stay out of that draft range and just stay ahead.
Definitely not a bad idea in the slightest. The Cadillacs currently 3-4, or as we call them in ACC, the Sandbag Syndicate, currently doing a very good show right now. Maybe we don't need them in ACC anymore. Maybe they can just stick to LMU, give some of the other drivers some better chances at some better positions. But right now, almost 10 minutes has already passed, which is kind of incredible, and it really hasn't felt like 10 minutes has passed.
It has not. Definitely when you're behind the wheel, 10 minutes passes. Potentially when you're driving with other cars wheel to wheel, a lot slower than this. But I will drop some information for you regarding some of these cars. The Cadillac is a V8, and it's about 670 brake horsepower, and all these cars have an electric engine in them as well. So the Ferrari is a V6, so Zaborg's got a lot of horsepower behind him.
Well, it's good to know. Zaborg might have the advantage, but currently Bozak is keeping well with Macklin right now, so we'll see how their progress goes. Trying to get you all the gaps and all the races and stuff like that, but also with it being just a mini championship, I want to make sure that everyone gets a little bit of screen time, even if they're not in a battle situation, because this, like I said, this is mostly for bragging rights. It's not very much for a prize or anything like that, like they have down in Trackalicious. We're just having a bunch of fun here. Drivers obviously playing for pride at this point, but
yeah, it looks like the closest battle on track right now is Palaniuk chasing Terekov. And then the other one to maybe keep an eye on is Nairati catching up to Buggy Watt. He's set himself up in a good position into 9th. He's been looking pretty comfortable behind the wheel of that Porsche.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Let's see if we can get a different onboard. There we go. That's perfect. This is what the onboard of Kevin Palaniuk sees. Kuzya Terekov, my broadcast partner on Mondays, is right in front of him. Currently, he's doing better than his hockey team right now. Currently in a very good position, as we do have a yellow flag. I do not know what it is for. I'm assuming it's not for Vlad. Who did bring out that yellow? Problem is that, again, this is something I wish that...
It looked like there was a car sideways in La Source. That's a turn 1. There's a red and white car.
Oh, what a massive lockup for Buggy. And Nairati almost gets collected in that lockup kind of situation, but manages to get on through and finds himself now in P8 for about 4.5 seconds behind Dan De La Torre, who's 16 seconds behind Palaniuk. Who then Palaniuk is behind this gentleman again, Kuzya Terekov.
Yeah, he's closing that gap down pretty quickly. It was 8/10 probably a lap ago, and now it's around 5 to 4/10. So Palaniuk is definitely catching up. I don't know where like the draft kicks in, but it looks like Palaniuk is able to close that gap on these long straights at Spa. So be interesting to see at the top of a Rouge on the Camel Straight if he's able to close that distance even further.
Well, Palaniuk in the Porsche, Terekov in the BMW, 2 different models as it stands right now, so we'll stay running on board. So far, this is the closest battle. Technically, there is a closer battle with Buggy Watt and Nairati, but Nairati should be able to clear Buggy Watt in no time, and as I say that, Buggy goes down to about 1.5 seconds, so want to be careful. Riding on a Rouge, one of the most famous corners, but one of the also deadliest corners if you're not paying attention, Kerbal.
Yeah, I think we should get some onboard footage of some of these drivers going up a Rouge, because I remember in practice yesterday just seeing some of the cars like shaking the front ends like no at the top of the hill.
Definitely.
Looking left and right.
It's like they're just bouncing. It's not even necessarily like that. They're just bouncing up and down consistently.
Yeah, it definitely does not look stable, especially with how much curb some of these drivers are taking. So I think it's like a risk versus reward thing. You can push the car over those curbs and maybe get a few tenths on the Camel Straight, but you're really risking it, especially with your tire life. I was watching some of the drivers on board, and they do see like the percentage of health left in their tires. So yeah, actually you got that up right now. You can see a lot of these drivers are on mediums with haze on softs. And from what I heard, softs don't last more than like a few laps, maybe
5
6
laps.
to 8 laps. 5 laps?
Yeah, 5 laps is what I heard. Well, we'll take a look at the energy remaining. It seems that Power has done a good enough job at least starting to not burn off so much of his energy at once, so he's seemingly doing good. This is gap 2, the leader right now that is on your screen. I do not know pit stop times. I do not know anything of the sort, so don't ask me that. I will not know.
Yeah, from what they said, like you can pit and manage your pit stop. You can like swap out individual tires. So for example, like on Spa, your front lefts are usually more worn than your rear rights, depending on the weight balance of the car. So you can actually develop a pit strategy around just swapping out one tire. Ooh, that was pretty close. But yeah, you can adjust your pit stop, swap out individual tires, even adjust how much virtual energy you regain when you go into the pits. So if you're really good at maintaining that virtual energy, you can just limit your pit stop time, recoup enough to complete the race, and once again, stay ahead of your competitors.
Like, watch those cars bump over Radion and Eau Rouge, and look at the run that Salas is getting on Vlad. The Lamborghini just having no chance against this Peugeot. And another lockup from Vlad. His tires are going to be so flat spotted, it's not even funny anymore. And funny enough, there he goes. So it's like the curse continues on. I just seemingly curse everybody here. Doesn't matter. Oh. Is his car stopped?
I wonder if it shut off. Kind of like ACC, they have that auto shut off. Like if your car turns around, it just shuts down the engine. Ooh. It's probably, yeah, we got a yellow flag. He needs to get that car off the racing line.
And we do have somebody in the box that would be Braun. Braun has boxed, and now he has come out. So we'll see what his energy levels are like. I don't know if what he's done, pit stops, information, stuff like that. Not a freaking clue what to do here. So
It'd be interesting to see. Oh, looks like he came out with 88%. I think he went in with around 50, so opting to go for about a 30% virtual energy increase in his pit stop. I don't know what that like turns into in terms of like pit stop time, but perhaps he can gain some positions that way.
watching that car, watch them going up Radion and Eau Rouge is like somehow oddly satisfying because it just bounces.
Yeah, they almost look like they get airborne.
Right on board with Polinick. Nope, I don't want his rear wing, thank you. Still don't want his rear wing. There we go. Finally, something I can stare at.
Let's take a look at the gaps in between drivers.
Sure, I will throw the interval up for everybody on the screen. This is the closest battle at the moment. Kind of, De La Tour is currently what I like to call the best of the rest. He's currently sitting P7, 20 seconds behind this battle. However, Nairati is eventually slowly going to catch him, so. And as I say that, Vlad is come into pit.
This is where I feel like I need like a different menu so I can see what the virtual energy is when they go into the pits.
Yeah, that would be ideal, but you get what you get here. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for Mr. Cherekov. Gone off the track, had a little bit of an oopsie moment. Might allow Polinick the opportunity to get into the coveted top 5 position. Kujaterekov seemingly struggling with those tires right now. And can this Porsche catch this BMW? We are going to go up Radion in Eau Rouge first before we get to the Chemo Straight. Look at the run.
Right here, as long as Palina can maintain that speed up Eau Rouge, should be able to close the distance, because the Porsche has about 20 horsepower over the BMW.
This battle seemingly has lasted forever, and as I say that, we are going to take a look as that is Vlad coming out of the pits, and that is also Buggy Watt on the back of Mr. Salas Johnson going up Radion and Eau Rouge. Little bit of sketchy moments there for both those drivers involved. But as it stands right now, the only driver we have sadly lost is Mr. Russell Stanford. Ooh, actually, how did Bozak end up back here?
I don't think he went into the pits. Did we miss an overtake? Palinick passed Bozak.
Let me know. Let me check the stops counter. I do not believe we have, no. So either he's had an off, or something's happened that's now gotten him onto the back of Mr. Kevin Polinick, who had to focus on chasing Mr. Kujaterekov, now has to focus on defending from Mr. Bozak. So, what battle can you give us for the viewing faithful? As Samuel Bozak goes tries, maybe for round the outside, but nothing showing. Kevin Polinick defending it just fine for now. But the real test comes in Radion and Eau Rouge. We'll quickly look at the energy remaining. Polinick has only 22% left. He's been deploying that battery like a madman in an effort to try and catch Terekov, but has put himself in a position where he's probably going to have to pit sooner rather than later. You do not want to end up with no energy here, folks.
Yeah, from what I've heard, going no energy or no virtual energy, you get a penalty, which is a 100-second penalty, which in a race is significantly detrimental.
Is absolutely detrimental here to these drivers, so Polinick will have to think about pitting soon. However, Polinick has seemingly gotten a gap away from Mr. Samuel Bozak, who's seemingly struggling now, trying to get that car going. We are about 3 minutes away from half race distance, so we will probably get some drivers coming into the pits soon. Power just has a massive lead over the competition. This feels like I'm watching Stavko right now.
Yeah, what's Power's virtual energy right now? Because last I saw he was around the 30%.
Throw it back on to, he's about 27%.
Okay, so he's maintaining that pretty well.
Not the lowest, but Terekov dips a wheel into the gravel a little bit. All the drivers will do that from time to time. Sorry, folks, I had to mute my mic there. I coughed a little bit and did not want to wreck anybody's earphones. So, who's still here with us right now? Talk in the chat, be interactive. See, with Kurt, obviously Kerbal's going to help me stay awake, but meant to be interactive. It's just it's a stream of a championship while I'm doing commentary, so
I don't know at this point if you need me, Tyler. There's plenty of action on track. I'm surprised at how close some of these drivers are able to stay with one another after, was it, almost 25 minutes of full-on racing.
We do have a yellow flag. I'm going to look at the delta to see like maybe who's it from, and I can't really tell. Is it from Watt, maybe? Yes, it is from Mr. Buggy Watt. He is currently sitting. Where is that?
That's coming up to campus, I think.
He's in a oh, it's coming out of No Name. That's where he seemingly has spun. So
that's right after.
Yep, it's right after No Name.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I was wondering where he's decided to park himself. He's parked himself in a not so advantageous position, as all the other drivers now just drive around him like it's nothing new. But yeah, no, he seemingly has found himself in a not so nice position. So
Wonder if he's just having trouble getting the car started again. You know, I don't know what the startup sequence is for these hypercars. It seems, I guess, from how we've seen so far, somewhat complicated.
Definitely seems like a complicated situation there, as we are going to ride on board now with Bozak, who's a lot closer to Polonic than Polonic is to Kushaterekov. So I wonder.
Do you want to hop on and look at Polonic's rear wing? Get
Sure.
some rear wing footage.
Let's see if I can get some of that rear wing footage. Oh, that's
very close.
That's a little close for. I was like, wait a minute, where did he go? That would be him going
Pit
into the
lane.
box, folks. Yep. That
Polonic
is
ops
lane.
the pit.
So want to be careful not to overspeed into the pits, folks. Not something you want to do. Alex Hansen's still watching on. That's obviously good. We'd love to see that.
Yeah, another interesting thing that I found out about this is there's no ghosting in the pit lane, so choosing when to pit is important because, you know, if you pit at the same time as a competitor, you can't just drive through their car. You actually have to drive around them. So if your pit stalls are pretty close to one another, that could be, once again, a difficult thing to navigate while you're out on track.
Definitely not something you want to have to try and find out as the race goes on. You want to be in a little bit of a situation where you have a little bit of comfortability as to not have to avoid that situation. So you almost kind of have to like see who's gone into the pits, or at least hopefully have an idea going in, as Buggy Watt and Vlad are going to hold down the back of the fort, currently 12th and 13th respectively. Hayes also now in the pits for seemingly his pit stop. Little too far forward, the mechanic's moving back, but it is all right. That's actually not a bad shake of the finger. Let's do some commentators curse. Nah, dude, it's LMU. I can't curse anybody right now, but we
also,
will.
As a commentator, Tyler, I don't think you can will commentators' curses. I think they just kind of happen.
Yeah, they kind of just have. I mean, I can say like, "Oh boy, look at Max Power. He's doing so great right now." And then if he spins into turn one, then ta-da, cursed it, lol. But what I will do is go through a current order. Currently, we have Max Power leading, followed by Zaborg. And what is happening in the background there? Seemingly, what was that? Oh, that's just Braun in the background being a back marker, you know, trying to get out of the way. Bozak trying to catch Kushaterekov. So we have Zaborg going up Radion and Eau Rouge right now. Then you have Burt Macklin also going up Radion and Eau Rouge. Then you have Kushaterekov followed by Samuel Bozak chasing him in the background. Then you have Dan De La Torre, who's currently sitting 22 seconds back of that battle right now. Then you have Nairati, who's desperately trying to catch Dan De La Torre, but currently at around 5 seconds. Then you have Salas in the back. Then you have Salas in P8, Polonic in P9, Braun in P10, Hayes in P11, Vlad in P12, and then you got Buggy Watt trying a desperate move, and both of them get taken out as, oh my god, Vlad goes all the way across the track. Somehow that car has not DNF'd, which is incredible. Please don't say how far Vlad is. Never mind.
Some of these the speeds that these cars get to is insane. Just for some historical information, Tyler, can you guess the fastest speed of one of these hypercars and what year that speed was set? Actually, just go with the speed and I'll tell you the year.
400 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, pretty close. 407 kilometers an hour, which was set by the WMP-88 in 1988.
That steering is just how that isn't a DNF is beyond me. Hanson, you wanted your curse. There's your curse. I sadly cursed the person you're cheering for.
So wait, does that mean Alex Hansen got cursed?
I don't know. Is that cursing the driver, or is that the commentator cursing the driver? Oh no.
It's a commentator curse on the driver, but it's a reciprocal curse on the person who wanted to watch them.
So, does that count as a double kill then?
It might be double tap.
Yeah, I might have just gotten the DRL's first double kill. Hayes again throws on the softs after his pit stop. That's a bold strategy considering.
Yeah, because he's been running soft since the race start, I think. Power down to 13. He's going to have to come in soon.
A lot of these drivers might have to come in soon. We'll throw on the number of stops that each driver has made. You can see on this board here, Polnick has made 2. Dan's in for his 1. Braun, Hayes, Watt, and Vlad. Actually, not Watt. Watt hasn't stopped yet. Vlad has stopped, and then the rest up to P7 have not stopped yet. And we will look at their virtual energy remaining, and it is some drivers it's a lot, but for power it is not. He is, as my good friend Neil Kerbel said, he will. I was holding my fingers crossed. It does not count. I mean, it's an LMU championship. It's kind of.
Would you say that power is running low on power?
I'm not bringing you back next week just for that comment alone. The pun was unnecessary in its finest. Power is going to keep going on, though.
Yeah, looks like he's going to stay out. He's going to push it. I mean, he's 10 seconds ahead of P2, so he's able to stretch his legs and really enjoy that gap. But it'd be interesting to see when he goes into the pits what his virtual energy comes out with. How much does he replenish?
Oh, we do have a yellow flag. I'm going to take a bet. I'm laughing because I said I'm gonna take a bet and just went with Vlad, and it sadly didn't work. Has he spun coming out of the pits? I feel like he's spun somehow out of the pits.
Yeah, that looks like the pit exit.
Is definitely indeed the pit exit. There really aren't any close battles right now. This is the closest battle at the moment, which is Salas getting close to Nairati.
Yeah, about 1.2 seconds. Oh, Silas just passed Nairati. What happened?
Nairati is in the box.
That would do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some drivers.
Oh, that was
close.
That was close. I don't know who flew up that man, but that was a lot tighter than I think Samuel Bozak wanted that to be.
I wonder if that was a code brown.
Oh, for sure. Did you see how slow he was going?
I mean, it's not a stopped car, but it's any slow speed going up a Rouge is terrifying.
Oh, and that's a DNF for Vlad. Vlad's done. I think he's frustrated, and I think that's, I'm going to drive this car full speed, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I really, really don't like seeing drivers DNF. It's
a bit of a waste.
No, I wouldn't say it's a waste. It's just sad to see, like, their race is just they're in a position where they just cannot recover and drive with other drivers.
I meant more of it's a waste, as in like he's in a 50-minute, he's done a little over 30 plus, almost 35 minutes. That's 35 minutes now he won't be able to get back, and I feel for that, especially in ACC this season where I struggle a lot in the home stretch. It's like honestly it kind of happened after Red Bull Ring. As soon as Red Bull Ring ended, I kind of just lost the love, as it's so to speak of.
Well, I think 30 minutes is a lot longer than I could last in this, especially with these cars having no anti-lock brake system. Like, you really need to control your braking to ensure that you don't lock up those tires and get flat spots, because that just makes the driving even more difficult.
As one driver said, seemingly we are playing flat spot simulator, so...
So they should rename LMU to FSS, Flat Spot Simulator.
Power has 5% remaining.
Okay, he's really holding out. Let's see if he comes into the pits this lap. He's coming around he's coming up to the chicane. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna pit?
I'd be shocked if he didn't. There he goes.
Oh, there he goes. Yep. Okay.
So he's
at 5%. Let's see what he does. Looks like Zaborg should be coming in pretty soon too, probably in the next few laps.
Oh, they had to move him back just a tiny little bit. Zaborg will take the lead of the race. Macklin will be P2. Tarakov will move up into P3, and then off goes Power. Let's see how much...
What are you thinking? I'm thinking about 60%. Actually, no, maybe 50%. He's coming out with 50%.
I say probably like 42. There's 14 minutes left to go in this race. 32?
Okay. He's got some math skills going on. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's got them maths going. You have Samuel Bozak catching up to Salas Jensen, actually.
And looks like he just passed him.
And it does look like he just passed him. That is why.
Jensen went in the pits. All right.
That was a perfect pit stop.
Yeah. No movement whatsoever to reset in the pit stall. Actually, let me ask you this, Tyler. When we were watching practice, can I get official comment? Does the Peugeot look like a Cylon?
I honestly wouldn't know what that is, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'll give you a yes, though. No, regardless, I will give you a yes.
Perfect.
This will be interesting to see where Polinick comes out in retrospective to Salas, because you can see Salas there in the pit still. He will be approaching the pit exit line shortly, and as I say that, he hits it right there. So let's see, is Salas going to come out ahead of Polinick here? Yes, he will. Not by much, though. Polinick will have the speed. He will have the rundown. As there,
good camera choice.
Oh.
That spark coming right off Jensen's car up ahead. Covers the inside. Polinick going out on the outside. Jensen then moves back. Polinick moves to the inside. Jensen might have pushed that a bit wide in the braking zone. This allows Polinick to catch up and overtake.
What an inside move by Polinick. What a fantastic move. Who am I cheering for now? Kuzha Tarakov? Tarakov currently sits at the moment P2 because Macklin has pit. And that is Max Power already going by him. Where is Bozak going to come out in relation to him? Probably not even close. Currently, less than 12 minutes to go. We are now approaching 1 a.m. Eastern. Ah, this brings back memories.
Yeah, what specific memories?
Staying up till 1:30 in the morning doing commentary.
I mean, you stayed up till 1 a.m. doing driving too.
Yes, but like, I don't know. Like, I guess what helps about Mondays is that it's more friendly to the Eastern time zone. But like, I don't know. We've definitely had some interesting moments here. Like, we've caught a few crashes, we've caught a few overtakes, but it's mostly just been kind of you and I just bumping heads together so far. And with this kind of mini LMU championship, it's kind of just for funsies right now. Like, we're
Yeah,
not.
I think a lot of the drivers are out there really learning the cars too, because I think some of them were swapping out cars and trying out different ones. So I don't know if they're allowed to swap between races, but it'd be interesting to see if these drivers maintain the car choices that they have in this race for the next one.
Oh, I see. Commentary after 12 is more like cursing. I mean, I'm more likely to curse someone in this than I am in. Actually, no, I lie. I'm less likely to curse someone in DRL than I am in Trackalicious, because Trackalicious I have no affiliation to. I know maybe like 3 or 4 people in there.
Yeah, you care about a few of those Monday drivers on track. Don't hold back, Tyler.
The legend is not racing with us right now, Kerbal, and you still lost to him. I don't want to hear it. Currently, the closest interval gap we have right now for you is Braun on Salas, but Salas is a little ways up the road, about 2.5 seconds.
I think closest battle we have right now is Braun catching Jensen.
Yep.
At about 2.2 seconds.
Ooh, Zaborg's on 6% energy.
Well, he's got... Actually, yeah, let's follow him, see if he goes into the pits. So it looks like he's coming around Stavlot right now. It's really hard. Oh, no, this is Stavlot, and then he's in... I'm gonna botch this one.
I did
Cobley,
hear a I heard a crash, and there's a yellow flag. Trying to see, because for some strange reason I can hear crash wherever it is on the track.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Well, I sadly don't have a giant yellow flag indicator going, hey, it's this guy.
Alright, looks like Zaborg opts to go into
5%.
the pit lane at 5%. So let's see what he comes out with. I'm gonna guess maybe
20,
around...
25.
No, I'm going 18.
It's not going to be much.
Considering Teragov has 12%, I really wonder if Teragov is able to push that virtual energy to the end of the race.
Maybe he would get himself the win and stay ahead of Power if he does so, because there goes Max Power past Zaborg, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. And that is the Cadillac of Dan DNFing in the pits, actually.
I wonder if that is who caused that crash noise that you were commenting about earlier.
Maybe. Oh, actually, it was Salas in the pits. Maybe he had a drive-through. Because I sadly don't have that information either of a drive-through or not.
I think one of the things this game could benefit from it would be a track map, so we can see where the drivers are on track.
Kujaterekov is sitting at 10%, 12 seconds ahead of Max Power. He would have to do some serious lift and coasting if he wanted that opportunity.
Yeah, let's pull up the relatives and see what the gap is between Terakov and Power.
About 12 seconds. Thanks, Dog, for subscribing with Prime. Resubscribed 8 months. Thank you so much. Sorry that you DNF'd in the race. How did you die? I heard the sound of the crash. I just couldn't find you in time.
Looks like Jensen is catching Hayes as well. He's about 7/10 off Hayes's bumper. Let's do a chase cam for Jensen.
Terekov is at 7% with 6 minutes left to go. Bit of a lock up there by Hayes.
Yeah, Jensen's really closing the gap. And then as far as Terekov goes, I don't know if he's going to be able to push that 7% for the remaining 5 minutes.
Well, here's Salas's chance. Defending the inside. Little bit into the grass. Jumpy cars all around. And this is where the slipstream will come into effect. He lost it up. Oruge, unfortunate. Hayes defends the inside. Salas has the opportunity, has the overspeed to go round the outside. Nobody locks up, surprisingly. Good defense from Hayes on Salas. The Ferrari stays ahead of the Peugeot for right now. But this battle is far from over. As down the inside goes Salas, a lockup by Hayes causes him to lose the position, and through ahead goes Jensen into 9th.
Amazing battle between those two. You can really tell like where they're positioning their cars. They're clear in their intentions, and it really makes for some good racing.
Kuju Terekov. All eyes are on him. Energy levels at 5%.
4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Ooh, and he goes into the pits.
Oh, just couldn't manage to keep it out long enough.
This might be a splash and dash.
Oh, it's absolutely a splash and dash for sure. He's gonna go in, out, and done. He's got to have a perfect pit though. Oh, he's getting slid all the way back. Oh yeah, that was. Where is he gonna come out though? Borg's gonna get past. All eyes are on him and Macklin though.
Yeah, Macklin's got 20. He can push this till the end. Let's see where Terekov comes out.
He's gonna come out ahead of Macklin. By quite a distance, almost 5 seconds. And yeah, Terekov now has 11%.
Yeah, so it's maybe like one. Ooh, that looked like a bumpy ride up a Rouge for Macklin. Yeah, so it looks like maybe 1 second for about 10% virtual energy.
Yeah, it was not very long. And funny enough, this race actually is almost already over. Which is crazy. Because like in ACC, it feels so much longer.
I mean, as a professional commentator, Tyler, I'll trust your opinion on that.
It's not good to trust my opinion on things, to be honest with you. My opinion's kind of a little skewed when it comes to commentating and driving. I do have the luxurious joy of being able to use both. But now, you know what's going to be interesting? This might catch out a few drivers. Because I think Power is going to cross the line when he starts a new... Okay. This will be interesting. Because as to where the timing line relates to and all that. Because if somehow Power crosses the line before we hit 000 and starts another lap, that might catch some of the drivers who don't have the proper energy, like Kuja, who's a little bit lower on energy than Power is, but not by much. But I also think Power knows that and knows he can't play that too risky.
I mean, it's like an ACC where you take a few extra liters of fuel. So you usually plan ahead for like one additional lap. And these cars are doing it about like maybe 201 to 203 per lap. So about, 10, 14 seconds ahead of GT3s that we're familiar with watching.
So, folks, barring a commentator's curse or an absolute hand of God strike, currently as it stands, Power, Zaborg, and Terakov will end in the top 3. Macklin and Bozak will finish 4th and 5th, respectively. Nairati will finish 6th, Polonic 7th, Braun 8th, Jensen 9th, Hayes 10th, Watt 11th, Dan DeLatour, Vlad, and Russell Stanford DNFing. Well, folks, like Stavko before him, this race seemingly never really felt like it was ever in doubt. Max Power has just been a class of his own in this race. He only has a few corners to go. It is unstoppable. It is maximum power to the line. One little tiny chicane to go. Make sure the checkered flag will wave for Max Power as he wins the LMU DRL debut at Spa. Zborg will come and take P2 as a fine result. Kuja Terakov will take P3 in his DRL debut in any format. Macklin will take 3rd. Or sorry, Macklin will take 4th. He's car number 3. Samuel Bozak will come across the line to take 5th place. Braun already in the pits has taken 6th. Salas will take 9th. Hayes comes across the line, will take 10th. Buggy eventually will cross the line to take 11th. These drivers are kind of skewed all over the place right now.
Yeah, some big gaps. It's not confusing enough to have car number 3 finish 4th and 5th, is it?
I don't want to even know. I don't want to even know. And the BMW flashing the lights will finish P6. Polonic behind him will finish in 7th. And then we will have to wait on one driver. I do believe that's Buggy Watt who's going through the sidings now. And then that will... Yep, 4th, 5th, and 12th is car number 3 somehow. In pieces. And that's it, folks. Probably won't do any interviews of the sort. At least not in the first go-around. I'll have to work on it for the second. So many things to improve. But so far, a dip in the water is very nice. Interview Neil. Neil, how did your race go?
That was great. I'm not sweaty. I'm not tired. This is wonderful.
What was your strategy going in today?
To maintain 100% energy and to funnel some of that energy into you so your virtual energy can maintain the length of the 50-minute race. Was I successful?
You were very much successful indeed. Thank you all so much for joining us in our dip into LMU. Join us again next week where I will figure out where the heck we're going. So, Tyler Morgan, thank you, Neil Kerbel, for joining us. Have a good night, everyone, and we will see you again next week.
Yep, goodbye, everybody.